I just read recently in the paper that our state rep is proposing a loop around the Woodlands. Says we need a transportation loop around the Woodlands to solve all of our transportation problems. And it always comes up, don't build this, build this. What do you think? What's your opinion on it? You're the transportation guru. You are responsible for planning and development, all the right-of-way, all the grid system, all the roads in the Woodlands. What do you think about that plan, our proposal?
Well, first, this involves whether to do widen 1488 and 242 as a alternative. If you've been on 1488 or 242 recently, you realize that there is congestion there.
It's hard to go 80.
Yeah, it is.
And more difficult to do the 100. But,
Lord knows I've tried.
And it will only increase as the area west of the Woodlands develops.
It used to be a two-lane road.
Yeah.
1488.
Yep. So improvements will need to be made because people will want to move east along a corridor. If you don't widen 242 and 1488, then you open up the alternative of using Woodlands Parkway and Research Forest Drive
but we don't
through
want
the
that.
Woodlands.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, we did a test. I think the commissioner measured the through traffic back then through the Woodlands on Woodlands Parkway and on Research Forest Drive, and it was actually relatively low. But if you Googled, if you were on 2978, roughly where Mansions Way, the new connector, would come in, and you Googled going north to Conroe or Dallas, the route it would direct you to a couple of years ago was 2978, 1488. If you Googled going south, it would direct you to 2978 and the Grand Parkway. If you Googled going directly east, it would direct you to 1488 and 242. So all of those routes back then, did not go through the Woodlands using Woodlands Parkway or Research Forest Drive. So unless you widen those other roadways or find an alternative route, traffic will use Woodlands Parkway and Research Forest, which I think nobody wants. Nobody wants the other roadways are all state roadways, FMs, or state highways. The other roads in the Woodlands are not. And so the idea would be to keep the traffic on those roads. If 2978 is being widened now, 1488, 242 are planned to be widened. The right-of-way is already there. That's one of the factors that is looked at, as well as the Grand Parkway, which they've widened on the southern section, but not up here. So widening these other routes around the Woodlands really provides in my opinion, the loop that Toth mentioned as a loop around the Woodlands. You don't need a brand new road. That's very difficult to do these days.
Yeah,
widening existing roadways, particularly when the right-of-way is already there, is much more palatable.
Right.
If you did that and you control the intersections, you could in effect have a loop without it being a brand new road. And what I would do with regard to the issues of sound, et cetera, is ask TxDOT to look at covering the existing roadway as well as any widening with the sound abating asphalt that they've used on Beltway 8. And I would wager a guess that if you did that sound walls wouldn't even be in the discussion. In fact, the sound maybe even less than what it is today, even with the widening. And I would also request a raised median be maintained and that be landscaped. So I think everybody has the same idea as far as minimizing the through traffic through the woodlands that has neither an origin nor a destination. It doesn't help the woodlands at all.
Right.
There are ways of dealing with the existing roads rather than a brand new road, and that could in fact operate as a loop.
That is,
This sounds like a good thing.
it is a good thing, and you know what? We did that sound abating overlay on Gosling because a lot of the Gosling residents were, and that's when Ed Chance was commissioner, and that's why Robert is such a genius about doing road and mobility in the woodlands, and all the right-of-ways are already bought, by the way. And you know what we should have done is we probably should have taken Woodlands Parkway and just punched it straight through to 249. Why didn't we ever do that?
Because then we'd have through traffic through the woodlands,
Oh,
and we'd
really?
have to pay for it, and we
Okay,
don't want
okay.
anybody
Yeah, but
from
it's-
outside
if you
the
ever
woodlands
drive,
coming through.
Well, you drive out of the woodlands and you want to go to A&M.
For woodlands residents, it'd be nice. Maybe
it'd
it'd have to have a woodlands tag on it.
It sucks. I mean,
Maybe we could just pay Google to route everyone
Yeah.
around the woodlands,
Right,
and
let's
then we
just
wouldn't
do
have-
that.
Yeah,
All right,
just
wait,
don't go